a devoted wife, and a restless husband. One night, he follows her into the shadows, and what he sees will change everything and awaken a truth buried for generations. The silver moon hung low over the sprawling village of Olosun, casting long shadows across the dusty paths. The air was heavy with the sweet scent of blooming frangipani, and the rhythmic hum of cicadas echoed through the night. In one of the little huts nestled under the acacia trees, Temitope sat at her woven mat by the door. Her fingers moved deftly over a basket of yams, but her mind was elsewhere, lost in the secrets wending through her heart, like an unceasing river. The vibrant sounds of drums echoed faintly from the distant square where youths gathered for the Egungun festival. But Temitope was not attending the festival's jubilant dance that evening. Instead, she felt tethered to a different rhythm, a hidden call that pulled her away into the shadows, away from her watchful husband, Ade. Ade's hands moved rhythmically, the carving knife tracing ancestral patterns into the wood as his thoughts drifted. There had been something strange in Temitope's voice lately, a lilting note that wasn't quite right. It was like the way the stream in the forest sometimes changed its sound before a storm. His brows knitted together as he chiseled deeper into the mahogany mask, a protective spirit to guard the bearer from unseen eyes. Ad. Temitope's voice was soft, almost a whisper against the night, but it jolted him from his reverie. Yes, Adewunmi me, he said, turning to meet her eyes. I need to see Mama Fadeke, she said, tying her wrapper firmly around her waist. This was unexpected, and his heart skipped. At this hour? He asked, wiping his hands clean on his work cloth. Temitope nodded, pulling the cloth tighter around her head. It is important, she said, the urgency in her tone prickling his senses. Ade watched as Temitope stepped into the night, her figure absorbed by the shadows lining the path. An owl hooted from the distance, and the sound chilled his spine. The night felt too quiet, the air too still. He sat for a moment longer, listening to the cicadas compete with the wind, and a strange foreboding settled over his heart. Unable to shake the feeling, Ade got up and walked to the small window. He could see the distant glow of the diminished fireflies and the aura of the village in celebration. Ade's eyes narrowed. Perhaps it was something more than just a visit to Mama Fadeke. He couldn't bear the restless beating in his chest or the whirl of questions that the trickster moon coyly left unanswered. Temitope's legs carried her swiftly through the narrow paths, her eyes darting between the thick shadows of the trees. She arrived at a clearing hidden from prying eyes, where Mama Fadeke's shrine stood, a meeting place for those seeking solace and answers away from the chattering crowds. Mama Fadeke was a woman of small stature but great presence. Her hair was adorned with beads that whispered with every movement, seemed to hold secrets of their own. Her voice, when she spoke, was rich and deep as fertile soil. Ah, Temitope, daughter of Olosun, what troubles stir the river of your soul this moonlit night? Mama Fadeke's gaze was serene yet penetrating. Temitope hesitated, the words heavy like stones on her tongue. I seek knowledge, Mama, she finally said, her eyes wide with untold stories. Something that has eluded me, at the cusp of dawn and consciousness. Mama Fadeke nodded knowingly, pouring water from a clay pot into a bowl that shimmered with hidden lights. All things become clear under the patient gaze of the moon, my child. Speak, and let the ripples unfold. Back at the hut, Ade was restless, as a leopard trapped in an unseen jungle. He decided to follow. His footsteps blended into the night, silent, despite the weight of his curiosity. Each step felt driven by unseen forces, and he could only follow where his heart and feet led. What he found, however, was not what he had expected. As he approached Mama Fadeke's hut, he saw Temitope inside, seated before Mama Fadeke, the two women whispering over the bowl. He stayed at a respectful distance, concealed by shadows, yet close enough to hear snippets of their whispered conversation. Something about the veil of the twins and a daughter's sunlit path. What could this cryptic conversation mean? Who was this daughter they spoke of? Temitope breathed deeply, the air around her charged with an unspoken pact. Mama Fadeke's weathered hands hovered over the bowl, her voice a low chant that mingled with the night's chorus. Together they weaved a tapestry of past and future, of paths yet walked by feet and wills unknown. Temitope's heart pounded with the thrumming mysteries. Her fingers brushed the rim of the bowl, feeling the water's cool whisper against her skin. A promise or a warning? She couldn't tell. Yet hope wove its seductive charm through her soul, and she clung to the woven strands of belief and longing that held her being together. Hidden in the shadows, Aid felt his world shift like the tectonic plates beneath a restless earth. He didn't understand all the words floating on the air, but the gravity of their weight pressed against him. Temitope had never spoken of these things to him. Why? He turned to retreat before he was noticed, his heart heavy with secrets not yet ready for the light of day. His mind was a figment of turmoil as he navigated his way back home, leaving behind the echo of ancient voices and the sacred circle of faith and fortune he had yet to understand. The morning brought a fresh dew that sparkled in the sun's golden rays, casting short-leaved rainbows across the land. Aid watched from the doorway as Temitope returned, her face thoughtful, a question awaiting its voice. "Thank you for understanding, Adewunmi me," she said softly, meeting his eyes but cloaking her soul's turmoil beneath lashes that cast shadows on her cheeks. Ad nodded, carefully masking his thoughts on the daughter whisper and the unnerving chill of witnessing secrets in their cradle. That day, as they went about their daily routines, Aid tried to mask his unease. But he couldn't help noticing the difference in Temitope, a secret teetering on the edge, a hidden brook beneath the surface of her composed presence. He needed to know more. The silence between them now felt like a living thing, breathing its presence between their words. The tendrils of doubt began to weave through his heart, coiling around his thoughts. Had this path Temitope was treading chosen her, or had she strayed willingly into this labyrinth? At the height of midday, when the sun was at its zenith and the land lay asleep beneath its scorch, Aid stumbled upon something unexpected, a small bundle of letters, tucked carelessly among the yams in the storage room. His hands shook as he unwrapped them, recognition and dread warring within him. These letters, sealed with a symbol he did not recognize, hinted at an altogether different creature of conflict and clarity. His heart raced as he unwrapped another layer, the contents hidden yet tightly woven with the secrets unfurling in their lives. As evening descended like a gentle shroud, coloring the sky in hues of resignation and warmth, Temitope felt the ground beneath her feet shift, dense with implications and undercurrents beyond her knowledge. She returned to the village square, a lively, restless scene where the villagers, unknowing of her secrets, danced under the gaze of the masked spirits. Aid watched her leave with heavy thoughts, knowing he had uncovered only the tip of an iceberg. The past he had thought secured beneath the earth had already begun to surface, leaving him vulnerable to its whims and wishes. Back at home, Aid stood before his workbench, the unfinished mask staring back at him with hollow eyes, a reminder of potency and portents. Could it see beyond the veil that eluded him, into a realm where secrets danced with impunity and tainted the rhythm of their lives? His thoughts echoed the faint chant, still lingering in his ears from the night before, a call of warnings, of aged echoes that he could not freely bring back home. Just before dusk, as Aid stepped out to gather firewood, two cloaked figures descended upon the village path. Their faces were obscured, but they walked with purpose, an otherworldly presence swirling around them. Aid paused, feeling the tension twine through the air like a snake through tall grass. His instincts screamed at him to follow, to listen, to understand what had brought these strangers to Olosun's doorstep. As he trailed after the cloaked figures, Aid heard hushed voices, sporadic, fleeting as the fireflies flitting through the night. Discreetly, he moved closer, feeling the night's chill seep into his bones. "Our time is near," one figure whispered, turning to glance at the shadows as if sensing Ade's presence. "The child must learn of her heritage." Ade's heart stopped, the words hanging with unsung truths. Child? Heritage? His mind raced to piece together the fragmented voices in the night's tapestry, a puzzle not of words, but of lives, his and Temitope's, their threads intertwined with many others. As the cloaked figures vanished into the depths of the woods, Ade stood frozen, grappling with the crisis now unwrapping itself, like tendrils reaching for the sun. A daughter? Could this be what Temitope hid within the folds of her silence? His heart thudded like a drum heralding battle, the revelations loud and piercing in their discordance. And as the night cradled him in its dark embrace, Ade realized he stood at the precipice of conflict, not just within the village, but within his life. A confrontation yet to be met, a battle yet to be won for the secrets of a night that whispered truths against a silver moon. As the sun began its slow ascent, painting the village of Olosun in hues of golden promise, Ade stood beneath the acacia tree, its branches heavy with dew and secrets. The conversation overheard last night buzzed in his mind like an angry swarm of bees. A daughter? His mind raced with the implications, and the unknowns curled around his heart with a vice-like grip. Temitope, meanwhile, emerged from the hut, her eyes weary from a night of restless dreams. She sensed an unfathomable rift between her and her husband. A chasm formed under the silvery gaze of the moon. She took a deep breath, deciding that today would be the day the truth emerged, no matter how painful. By the hearth, Ade and Temitope stood facing one another, each matching the other's gaze with a blend of fear and resolve. The morning mist hung around them like an unresolved question. "Ade, there is much you do not know," Temitope began, her voice trembling yet resolute. "Things that I should have shared long before now." Ade nodded, his knuckles white around the wooden ladle he held. "Does it concern the child spoken of last night, the daughter?" "Yes," she replied, lowering her eyes, "but it is not just about her. It's about us, our destiny, and the stories woven between our ancestors and theirs." Temitope shared the tale that had been waiting to be told, a tale of her lineage intertwined with the spirit world, of her ancestral connection with the ageless stories of their people. As she spoke, Ade listened intently, his already heavy heart growing heavier with every word. Each revelation was a stone, part of a larger, yet incomplete mosaic. "We are the guardians of that which lies between worlds," Temitope explained, her eyes shining with ancient light. "But there are spirits, the twins you heard of, who seek the strength of their lineage through our own flesh and blood." Ade's mind reeled, the tangled web of lore and legend submerging him. He reached out, touching Temitope's shoulder, grounding himself in her presence. "Why didn't you tell me?" he asked softly, his voice a caress against the storm raging in both their souls. "I feared it would break what we have, Ade. We are bound by more than the flesh," she replied, tears brimming in her eyes. "Love is not always an easy path." Word of the two cloaked figures spread quickly through Olosun, carried by whispers and the restless winds. A meeting was called beneath the sacred baobab, the elders and villagers assembling to address the unease that settled over them like a chilling fog. In the gathered council, Ade stepped forward, his shoulders squared, yet his eyes reflecting the weight of unknown futures. "The twins," he began, his voice carrying over the murmurs, "are not just spirits of lore but of lineage. They are intertwined with our fate." He turned to meet Temitope's gaze, seeking strength in her approval. Mama Fadiki looked upon the assembly with her eyes of wisdom, the beads in her hair whispering a silent tale. Her presence was steady, a rock amid the turbulent seas of revelations. "The peace of our village is balanced on acceptance and knowing," she intoned, her voice a comforting balm. A time may come, and soon, when actions must follow words. Aid and Temitope exchanged glances, the realization striking them. With knowledge comes responsibility, and the power to change not only their lives, but the fate of the village. That evening, as the crickets sang their boisterous song, Aid found himself unable to sleep. Beside him, Temitope breathed softly, having shared the burdens of her heart. Summoning his courage, Aid rose and returned to the workbench where the unfinished mask awaited. There, he inhaled deeply, whispering a silent plea to the spirits of the wood and the ancestors. The mask became more than just an object. It transformed into a vision, a guide through the tangled darkness of past and future, a conduit for clarity. As Aid carved the mask with newfound impetus, the room shimmered and the air thrummed with mysterious energy. His hands moved with precision, the symbols channeling wisdom and energy as each cut released the spirits' voices, echoing their approval. When dawn broke, the completed mask rose as a testament of Aid's commitment to his family and his roots. In the mask, Aid saw both himself and his ancestors, each stroke a promise whispered in the language of the soul, both completion and beginning. Morning found Temitope and Aid united, their resolve as strong as the ironwood staff Aid now carried. Shoulder to shoulder, they stood before the village, the elders behind them, spirits both seen and unseen, guiding their path. "Let us begin," Temitope declared, her voice resonating with the certainty of a woman who has embraced her vocation. "The answers we seek are within us, and together we shall reveal the shape of our future." The twins revealed themselves through the tapestry of reality, embodying the youthful giggle of their daughter, born of dreams and destiny. She stood before her parents, both mortal and eternal, a bridge between worlds. The village exhaled, a murmuring acknowledgement of what was ever present, yet hidden. Aid sank to his knees, overcome by the vision of his daughter, her presence an affirmation of all that had unfolded. Embracing her, he felt the circle of time complete, cradling them within its unending story. Revelations rippled through the village, weaving villagers closer, transcending past and present divisions. The night closed in with a heavenly song, the stars blinking above, as if in celebration. As the festival of the Igungun continued, Temitope and Ade danced beside their child, the fire casting long shadows symbolic of struggles faced and overcome. The spirit's trial was rendered, not with fire or flood, but with kindness, community, and newfound understanding. Ade's eyes shone with acceptance and gratitude, basking in his family's glow. Mama Fadeki approached with a smile of grandmotherly approval, assuring him, "The world spins on forgiveness and faith, two gifts you have learned well. May the mask guard your home and keep your heart open." Temitope, and their daughter lingered by the fire, feeling the warmth seep into their bones and hearts, erasing the burden of secrets past. The moon sang her quiet lullaby, a celestial blessing shining down upon them. As dawn crept over Olosun once more, it brought with it the promise of new beginnings for the village and its people. Aid and Temitope looked upon their kin with joy, knowing that lineage, like the rivers that feed the land, nourishes the future tethered to understanding. In the final moments of revelation and peace, as the masks were laid down and the dance carried on, the unity of all things became evident. The village's song was an eternal cycle, belonging to no one and everyone among them. In the echoes of their humility lay the secrets of their survival and the keys to their flourishing. Their laughter wove into the rhythm of time, an unmistakable melody that would rise with each dawn, ensuring that harmony was not just hoped for, but achieved. I hope you enjoyed this story. Be sure to like and subscribe for more, and I'll be back tomorrow with another interesting tale. Thanks again for watching. See you next time.